Okay, thank you again so much for joining this webinar. I am Yassine Mansour. I am present here with David Bakla from Apwide. And today we're super excited for our first YouTube Live, and we're happy to present you with the Apwide Test Environment Manager. So here is it. Who are we exactly? Apwide, we're a Swiss software company. We're really excited about the Atlassian tools. We've been developing add-ons for the last 3 years. We had a great experience on the Atlassian tools, and we have two products now and coming products for near future. The first one is the main product we have is Apwide Test Environment Manager, which is the goal of this YouTube Live. So what is Apwide exactly? It is a tool that we will see. It's an environment manager helping the test people, the release people in order to enhance and boost their software delivery lifecycle. And then we have another add-on which called Apwide File Field, which is quite useful. I mean, it's a little link that we can add your attachments and to play with it in Jira. So I really invite you to take a look at our website in the marketplace Atlassian and to test both products. Okay. So one important thing is we have really happy to have more than 100 active installations of our Apwide test environments. And we are trusted from big companies that are using and still enhancing our products with them with their feedbacks, and really excited about the features that we're offering them. Again, take a look at our marketplace. That's really helpful. So as an introduction, I think we can all agree that we are in the DevOps era. I mean, all the application dev leaders or the software dev leaders who are in customer obsessed organizations, they're embracing the continuous software delivery, and the goal is to create more value and to put it faster in the market and to gain really competitive advantage in the market. But what we've noticed is with the agile and DevOps culture and practices, uh, we've seen that the testing services are facing a complete disruption. And this is why we can say that the continuous testing is become like the new normal. Continuous testing, as you can see here in the DevOps Infinity Loop, it runs in parallel with all the activities in the DevOps sphere. So this is why the idea came to us to develop the Apwide test environment. The pain point is you cannot thrive in your continuous testing if your management of environment they're really done in a poor fashion. If you don't have very high skills in this environment management, you kind of losing this track of testing. So today, Apwide testing management, we worked with the testers and we identify a set of questions. For example, where is my environment? How can I know that this version is in this environment? How can my team have a great visibility on that? This is why we developed this add-on in order to put everything in Jira software. So you are having your bugs, your defects, your test cases, and you can find all the information related to the environments inside Jira. And believe me, that changed the game for a lot of our clients, and I'm really happy to have that. So let's take a look at a real demonstration of the add-on. So meet the challengers team. This is a normal IT team. Let's hope it's a DevOps team. We have people from environment, Mike from releases, we have developers and testers, and we have operation people. So the goal here is to go through a certain use cases and to show you and how Apwide Test Environment Manager helps on a specific cases. So let's take the first use case here. So we have Sarah. Sarah, she's working in environment and she is responsible of putting all the information in the environments and to follow all the data, if we can say with that. So Apwide Test Environment Manager give her this opportunity, which called the environment repository. So let's take a look at it in Jira. Okay, so when you get to Jira, you have this beautiful panel here. It's called the environment repository. You click here, you have all the environments. So what do we have here exactly? We have a list of environments. For us, or for Apwide Test Environment Manager, an environment is a category plus an application. For example, here we have the payment services application. This is the dev environment of payment services. Then as you can see, we have several data related to that. So we have the environment URL that gives me directly to the application. We have a set of attributes. that you have hand on. I mean, you can add whatever attributes you want. In my case, we have servers, admin console, we had the information on the CPU, the data set, the database, etc. We have the deployed version. Well, this is a Jira deployed version. Okay, and if you hover on, you have all the details and the traceability about what happened exactly in that environment. So in my case, I can see that, for example, we deployed the Pay 6.0 2 months ago, and who done it exactly. And then we have the status. The status is unavailable, slow, in deployment, under stress tests. You name it. So of course, when you install the Apwide Test Environment Manager, we have a set of available statuses, but this is entirely configurable. You can add whatever status you seem for you relevant. And then we have the watcher. This feature for you guys, if you are familiar with the watching the issues, this is similar. So what is that exactly? If I click to choose to watch an environment, I will receive an email whenever something happened to my environment. In instance, my version is deployed, the status has changed, or an issue is associated to the environment. This is a game-changing thing because now people from operations, they receive, okay, we have the staging kind of down, and then we receive directly an email for that. What you can do exactly in an environment is you can update the status. So here you have all the availables. Again, you can add your status. You can choose to deploy a version, update deploy version. So we can say, okay, let's put the payment 6. The deployment date is today, for example. Okay. And it is really easy to add an environment. Add an environment, you choose the application. As I told you, an environment is an application plus a category. And then I would like to add a demo environment for ERP. I add the URL, permission scheme, and I can add all the attributes I want. For example, here, the database, I can say Azure SQL Server, for example. Then I add. And my environment, the environment already exists for this application, this category. So we need to choose training environment, for example. So this is the repository. But in order to go very quick, we have this powerful search engine. So here is it. You can search by application. For example, I would like all the e-commerce environments, or you can test with category. Give me all the staging environments. Oh, sorry. Give me all the staging environments of e-commerce, for example. Okay, or you can test by attributes. This is really powerful also. If you are sure about your attributes, you would like, okay, give me all the environments where CPU i7. So he's quite intelligent to give you that. Okay, so your users, they have hand on this environment repository, and they can search for whatever environment they want, and they can have this information about the traceability, what's been deployed and what has not been in the past, and then all the attributes together. Okay, this is how Sarah keeps track of all the environments. So let's move now to a second use case. Here we have George and Jen, developer and tester, and the goal is to know when I'm working on a ticket, where is my environment, what is the information about my version, where is it exactly? So let's take a look how Apwide helps in that situation. Okay, so let's create a bug. This is bug export not. Okay. And here you can notice we have a field called detected in and tested in. Those fields, they are environment, they are Apwide environment fields. So for example, here I can say, I detected the problem in e-commerce integration, okay? And it affects the version e-commerce 3.4. So when you get to this bug ticket, you will notice that we have a new panel called environment panel. So what is that exactly? Because I am on the context of an application, which is e-commerce, it will present me with everything related to e-commerce. So here is the environment that I'm having, and here is in which environment the version is. So for example, I have the version 3.4, and I can see, okay, this is in integration and this is in dev 1. And then let's say that I will be fixing it in the 3.5 and 3.6, for example. And that we already tested, for example, in integration 2. Okay, so if we have like a link between other application, let's say this is tested in integration plus payment service. It has a dependency, for example. Again, the environment panel will present me with the detail according to the two applications, because in my bug context, we have the two applications now. I can see integration, I have pay for 5.4 and e-commerce 3.4. So this gives George and Jen, I mean the developer and the tester, great visibility. Where is my version that I would like to test? Something interesting also, let's imagine that the tester would like to test something in staging. We have a specific GQL queries that we can use. For example, here, give me all the fixed version in deployed versions integration 2. Let's say I am a tester. I would like to test the integration 2, which is, I know this is e-commerce 3.4. I can run this query and it gives me all the bugs that are resolved and in a version installed in this integration 2. So this is just a quick example of our GQL query, but we have more on that, and I invite you to check our documentation to know how to play with that. Okay, so this is the environment palette. Again, if you hover on each environment, you can see the details about the previous deployments, the previous status change. Always we have this visibility that's given to everybody. Okay, so let's move to another use case. So this is Mike. Mike is a release manager. The idea is how to plan all activities related to my environments, how to communicate this plan. Let's see how Apwide responds to that. We have a powerful feature here. It's called the environment timeline. So what is that exactly? It was meant to be handled for environment, but now we discovered that our client loves it and they're pushing to have it also for releases. It's quite powerful. So what do we have exactly here? We have a timeline, a set of time, and we have the x-axis, which is all the applications, all the environments that I'm having. Okay, and we have the axis of time. Of course, we have the search panel, but let's focus here on e-commerce. Okay, so time, you can enhance the time to have more details. For example, hourly speaking, if you would like to manage your applications or you schedule by time, by hours. But let's zoom out a bit to show you what's happening here. Okay, so what do we have? We have the timeline and we have a set of calendars. What is a calendar? This is our thinking, Apwide Test Management. We said that the calendar represents an activity that you can do in an environment. So for example, we have data refresh, deployment, MAT tests, security scan, tests, etc. And the idea is to plan in the future all the activities you want. So let's say I would like to schedule, plan in my staging environment, some data refresh in the future. So I drag and drop here and I say, okay, I would like for the e-commerce staging, ecom 3.6, and the statue is slow. Okay, and then I would like again to data refresh, then to do some security scanning here, up again, ecom 3.6, and the statue slow, for example. And then I can schedule my deployment in production up of the ecom 3.7 available by this date. Okay, and you can, for example, choose to do, let's say, a stress testing for both environments at the same time. So if you do here stress testing, I can choose the e-commerce staging and I can choose the e-commerce integration, for example, ecom 37, ecom 37, just to show you guys how to do a shared event, if we can say so. So if you move this stress test in time, you can schedule at the same time, the integration in staging. So here the idea is you have a set of activities related to your environments. You can schedule them in this timeline. And once everything is beautiful, you can export your event. So as you can see here, you can choose which application and you can export it in Outlook, in Google Calendar to give everybody visibility on what's happening exactly now and in the future. Then we have something that I like very much. It's called the deployed version of the logs. So what is the logs exactly? So if you click on this calendar, it gives you, let's say, it gives you all the details what's happened in the past related to your versions. So for example, we can say that integration between December and now, it has the version e-commerce 3.4, staging at the same time. And this is the log in the past. Then we have a status change. If you activate status change, you can see in integration, for example, we've moved from available to another color here. It represents something else, which is, for example, slow, etc., etc. So it gives you visibility in the past, how were your environments. So again, we have the normal calendars, but let's switch to something interesting. It's called the issue calendar. Of course, you guys, you can have hand-on calendars. You can create whatever activity you want, but let's focus on this great feature. It's called the issue calendar. What is that exactly? Here I have booking approved requests. So if I click on this, up or booking approved. So this calendar, it gives me the tickets in Jira of a certain type. For example, I booked a request the 17th of January in the environment staging. And this has been approved at this date. So I have another use case here, which called a booking request pending. Also, you see, let's create one. It's more important to show you that. So how to do that? Let me create a booking request. Test booking environment to book. Let's say staging. Start time, let's say Friday, and end time, let's say, just an example, the 29th. And create. So if I get to my panel again, my timeline, sorry, here's what I have. This issue is appearing directly in the timeline because I'm using the booking pending request calendar issue. Okay, so if I choose to delete it, I have this. So let's go to the configuration to understand what is that exactly. This is quite easy and handy to configure. I ask the Apwide Test Environment Manager to search all the tickets of type booking requests, and they have the status in review, and to put them into the timeline. So you can imagine for your use cases, if you have some activities that you are already tracking with Jira, I don't know, doing some infrastructure maintenance or stuff like this, you can ask to have these events inside the timeline. And that gives you visibility on who is doing what exactly and when. Okay, so this is the timeline. And believe me, when you have all your environments set with all the details of events, it gives a great visibility. And you will no longer be bothered by where is my environment, what is expected in the future exactly. And especially if you share the event in a calendar with users. Let's move to the other element. How to manage booking requests for our environments. This is operations. This is something that I showed you. Okay, This part is for Emily. Emily, she's from release. The question is, how can I request an automatic deployment of a release? So it is good what I've presented you, but now if you are in an advanced level of automation and following the DevOps practices and you playing with externally tools like Jenkins, for example, or other deployment orchestrators, environments has a great API and you can trigger whatever you want. So let me show you what I can do here. So I mean, Emily, she would like to request an automatic deployment. Let's see how we can do this. Hopla. So I get back to the all environment. Okay. So you see, I am on the employee application. I am on the dev environment, and this is what version I have exactly. I have this very best team version deployed in this environment. So if I take a look at this, this is my very best team. This is what I see. This is an application that I'm having. But now I would like to deploy another version, update deployed version. You will see what will be happening. Just remember that the status actually is available, and I would like to deploy the 1.7 Apwide webinar specifically for this YouTube Live. Okay, so now I ask for the deployment. Okay, as you can see, now the status has changed automatically to unavailable. And after a few minutes, the status will be moving to available. What's happening exactly is Apwide is requesting Jenkins to put this version inside the application, and Jenkins send automatically message to Apwide test environment to ask him, okay, the status of the environment actually is unavailable. So after a few minutes, the version will be deployed in environment, and you will see what will be happening. Just okay. App. Again, we will be waiting a bit. Okay, and as you can see now, we have the deployed version Apwide and the statue is available. This is something done automatically between Jenkins and our environment. So let's take a look to what has changed. Okay, my best webinar ever. That you mean that now in the same environment before we had my very best team, but because we deployed the new version, Jenkins put it in environment, and now the application has changed. This is use case number one. And if you are like in more advanced, you can ask for an environment to put a version. Look what will be happening. For example, I don't know, I'm in a hurry and I would like a very urgent demonstration environment. So let's see what happens. Add environment. I choose the category, employee app. I would like a training environment. Okay. So I ask the creation of the environment from Apwide Test Environment Manager. And I ask also to put, you see here, the environment is created. We don't have any URL for the time being. We don't have any deployed version, but I will ask Jenkins to deploy the Apwide webinar, and you will see what will be happening here. I mean, the communication between our tool and the external CI/CD tools. Okay, give it a bit more time. Okay, maybe I did something wrong. Let's Okay, so what I wanted to show you is that the fact that I'm asking from Apwide, it sends automatically to the provisioning tool to create an environment, and it will create an environment, and I will deploy the version, and it will be added automatically here, which means the URL will be updated and the deploy version will be updated, and I can get access to this environment. I don't know what's happening here, but it's not working in my case, but I'm testing it the last time here. If I need to check, well, never mind. Okay. So just to show you guys, because our tools, we have webhooks to put in place. I mean, with the webhooks in Jira, it's easy to configure. We can detect the events, and we can send them back to other tools. Hopla. Okay, so we get to the end of our YouTube Live. So what we covered exactly, again, the test environment manager and what it presents from the best practices in a tool inside the Jira software. We have the environment repository, the notification system. We have the timeline for you to use it for activities in the future on the release activities also. We have the environment panel that helps testers and developers to have visibility on where are the version in which environments. We have the environment gadgets. Oh, this is a point I forgot to show. Just to get back quickly, we have two beautiful gadgets that you can use in your dashboards. The first one is the timeline. Okay, of course, you can configure it to focus on one environment or two. And then we have the Apwide environment, which presents you, again, with this list of environments and the details you would like to display. It's easily configurable. So if you can edit, for example, you choose the columns you would like to display, and you choose the application, and it's done. It gives you visibility on what's, if you are more focused on one application, not the other. Okay. And we have the REST API and webhooks that are quite useful to use. Well, thank you so much for your following. Do we have any questions? Hello, Apwide. Okay, this is a message from Elena. Hello, Apwide. It is possible to restrict the visibility of an environment to Jira user or a group of users. Yes, indeed, it is possible. This is something I did not cover here, but the environment manager comes with a set of permissions. So what are these permissions? Let's take a look. Okay, so we have who can browse the environment, who can change the status, who can edit, who can create and delete environments, who can deploy versions, who can manage and add applications and categories and events and deployments. How you can see, it is really granular. So you can add your teams and your groups inside your teams and grant them this permission access. Usually, what we've seen from our customer, our clients, is that the operation people have hand on when the status has changed, and we have the environment people have hand on adding and removing things. But again, this is free to you. It is quite granular. You have to think who to grant permissions to. I have another question coming from Steve. Can you show us the Jira webhook configuration for your last use case? Of course, yes. This is, as we tell you, we expose the webhooks in Jira. Up. Okay, so this is the webhook in my use case. Edit. As you can see here, we have environments related events. This is something brought by Apwide. So we have the creation of events, the deletion of event, editing, version deployed, status updated, issue associated, and issue dissociated. And in my use case, I use the version deployed because, as I told you, I have the case of the employee app here. And whenever I change the deployed version, a message is sent to Jenkins, and Jenkins the deploy version and change the status and get back to me. Okay, so this is how the webhook is done. Other questions? Thank you for your answer. I also wondered, you can map application defined in Apwide to Jira projects. Yes, this is, okay, the question is, I was wondering, you can map applications defined in Apwide to Jira projects. Yes, this is quite interesting question. Let's give me a recall you here. So for example, here I have, let me get to the ticket where I was. Test booking. So I am in the project e-commerce platform. And the environment to book, I can choose only environments inside the application e-commerce. I cannot choose other thing. So how did we do this? This is quite useful because we restrict the versions and the environment to use inside the project. This is manageable in the console. So first of all, we configure the project. So the project here in my case is e-commerce linked to the application scheme, e-commerce application scheme. Then we get to the application and I ask him for the e-commerce application, I would like you to use the scheme e-commerce application scheme. So, and the version mapping is related to that. That means whenever I am on the e-commerce project, I can choose only versions from the e-commerce application. Okay, so again, we didn't cover all the administration parts, but we are really happy to give you a demonstration of our tool if you would like so, and to like kick you have a quick start of our add-on. I think we're done here, and I thank you so much for your follow this YouTube live. We're really excited. This is the first time, not the first time. We will be having more use cases in the future. And feel free to send us any feedback you have at support@apwide.com. We'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you so much.